what Jesus meant by the gospel of the kingdom. So I think what we really need to do is we have to look at the gospels as a whole when we're really consulting what Jesus said and what he meant and the path that he really wants to take us on. So I think when he's talking about the gospel of the kingdom, what he's talking about is the kingdom within. Because in Luke, that's what it says. It says, the kingdom of God is within you. He says, don't look anywhere else but within for the kingdom. So what's happened is we've replaced that gospel of the kingdom with the gospel of grace. Now, the gospel of grace, although being 100% true, does not replace the gospel of the kingdom. It just kind of goes hand in hand with it. But we can't pull the two apart and then just focus on the gospel of grace without the gospel of the kingdom. Because here's the thing, in the Great Commission, Jesus said that the gospel of the kingdom was going to be preached before the end came. And that was the end of the age. So we're not at the end of that age yet because we're still preaching the gospel of the kingdom. And that's the thing, is he said few will enter. The way is very narrow, and that's why, because the true gospel is the gospel of the kingdom, and not very many people know that. It's a very rare thing. So when we look at the Bible and the translations of it, what happens is we actually lose that. So in addition to preaching the gospel of grace, what they've done is they've actually gone in and they've changed the Bible itself to get rid of any reference to the kingdom being within us. So you can see it in the New International Version, but you can actually also see it in the version that the Jehovah's Witnesses use in their New Testament. So we can see how they're actually being deflected away from the kingdom within, and it's just not a good thing. So part of what I want to do, and from here on out, is spread the gospel of the kingdom message, which I always kind of knew was the one that I wanted to preach, but I never knew exactly what it was until recently. I watched one of the Bill Donahue videos, and he was just really preaching on the kingdom within. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just approach that gospel right now, because that's where the truth really is that the kingdom's within us. And once I found that kingdom, I was like, all right, now everything is changing, because when we do find that kingdom, we know it's true, because the fruits of the Spirit start growing within us at a tremendous rate. It's like no other thing you'll ever experience in your life. And that's what we can explain to people, that are say, oh, you're a Christian mystic. What does that mean? You directly experience God. Yeah, that's how you directly experience God, is by the fruits of the Spirit growing in you, this, that, and the other way. And then you're able to share them, because we think about the fruits, a lot of it is inner things, but it's inner things in relation to other people. So as we're preaching the gospel of the kingdom and sharing it with others, we fully embody that within ourselves, is that kingdom has come within us. And that's what Jesus really taught, is that bottom-up authority. When we have the kingdom within, we don't need a kingdom without to direct our steps. We found that true in living God within us, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I hope this really clears up what the gospel of the kingdom is, and why Jesus preached it, and why he focused on that, and why he did not preach the gospel of grace. That's a whole nother thing and a whole nother video. But if we just focus on that gospel of the kingdom, we want to start by looking within ourselves first, dealing with all those issues within us, the earthquakes and the tremors and the wars and the rumors of wars within. And that's when we get to the end of our age of being in that selfish flesh person, and we start to live from the Spirit. So not only was the Great Commission something that we could do in an inner experience, it is something that we could actually bring about as an outer experience, as opposed to these end of the world type of prophecies that most of the church preaches today. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Thank you.